Good morning and welcome to a terrific Tuesday. We are here for our weekly read aloud, and today, as we prepare on Monday to celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I thought it was fitting to read, of course, a book about Dr. King. And so today's book is called Martin's Big Words, The Life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Our author today is Doreen Rappaport, and our illustrator is Brian Collier. And stay tuned because, yes, we are going to have some activities for you to do. Perfect for the classroom, perfect for at home, family discussion, classroom discussions, and just friendly discussions, things to think about. So let us begin. Martin's Big Words. Everywhere in Martin's hometown, he saw the signs, white only. His mother said these signs were in all southern cities and towns in the United States. Every time Martin read the words, he felt bad, until he remembered what his mother told him. You are as good as anyone. In church, Martin sang hymns. He read from the Bible. He listened to his father preach. These words made him feel good. When I grow up, I'm going to get big words too. Martin grew up. He became a minister like his father, and he used the big words he had heard as a child from his parents and from the Bible. Everyone can be great. He studied the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. He learned how the Indian nation won freedom without ever firing a gun. Martin said love when others said hate. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. He said together when others are separate. He said peace when others said war. Sooner or later, all the people of the world will have to discover a way to live together. Sooner or later, sooner or later. In 1955, on a cold December day in Montgomery, Alabama, Rosa Parks was coming home from work. A white man told her to get up from her seat on the bus so he could sit down. She said no and was arrested. Montgomery's black citizens learned of her arrest. It made them angry. They decided not to ride the buses until they could sit anywhere they wanted. Sometimes it takes one person to spark that flame. For 381 days, they walked to work and school and church. They walked in rain and cold and in blistering heat. Martin walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them until the white city leaders had to agree they could sit anywhere they wanted. When the history books are written, someone will say there lived black people who had the courage to stand up for their rights. And they were also affecting their money. In the next 10 years, black Americans all over the South protested for equal rights. Martin walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them. White ministers told them to stop. Mayors and governors and police chiefs and judges ordered them to stop. but they kept on marching. Wait. For years I have heard the word wait. We have waited more than 340 years for our rights. And in some cases, we are still waiting. They were jailed and beaten and murdered, but they kept on marching. Some Black Americans wanted to fight back with their fist. Martin convinced them not to by reminding them of the power of love. Love is the key to the problems of the world. Many white Southerners hated and feared Martin's words. A few threatened to kill him and his family. His house was bombed. His brother's house was bombed, but he refused to stop. Remember, if I am stopped, this movement will not be stopped because God is with this movement. The marches continued. More and more Americans listened to Martin's words. He shared his dreams and filled them with hope. I have a dream that one day in Alabama, little Black boys and Black girls will join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. After 10 years of protests, the lawmakers in Washington voted to end segregation. The white-only signs in the South came down. And while the signs came down, everything wasn't the way it was supposed to be right away. And it still isn't. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. cared about all Americans. He cared about people all over the world, and people all over the world admired him. In 1964, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. He won it because he taught others to fight with words, not fists. Martin went wherever people needed help. In April 1968, he went to Memphis, Tennessee. He went to help garbage collectors who were on strike. He walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them. On his second day there, he was shot. He died. Freedom, peace, together, I have a dream, love. His big words are alive for us today. The end. And if you ever get a chance to take a look at this actual book, there is a wonderful timeline in here of important dates and then some additional resources for you. All right, Martin's big words. So we know that, again, on this coming Monday, we will be celebrating the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It is a national holiday. And so some things to think about as we prepare for that on Monday. Just 3 very simple assignments, some things to think about. What character words would you use to describe Dr. King? So we come up with a nice little web here. And we know that he was very well respected and admired, brave. So what are some character words that you can come up with that would describe Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? And then our second thing is, we know that Dr. King used those big words, and his words were powerful. He understood that words were powerful. In the book, what is your favorite quote by Dr. King? Why? What does that quote mean to you? And maybe the quote is not even in the book. Maybe the quote is something that you have heard by Dr. King. What is your favorite Dr. King quote and why? And then our last activity here is we've got a lot going on in the world today. And sometimes we have a lot going on maybe in our neighborhoods, in our houses. That's called conflict. So solving our problems. List what the conflict is, but once you know what the problem is and the conflict is, what is the solution to that problem? Okay? Because it's always helpful to come up with a solution. We can name a million things that are the problems, but how are we going to solve it? What is the solution? Happy birthday, Dr. King. C for proud, MPS proud.